And now we're ready to work our first row of stitches. Now to be able to do that, I have to add the thread that I'm going to be working with for the lace. And I have again the number 10 pearl cotton, and I'm going to work a row of stitches down this side of the rectangle. And so I need to add this thread in and tie it on. And that's done by a very specific technique, and I want to add it to the sidebar here so that I can work along this edge. So I need to come from the outside with the needle underneath the coordinate. Now you see I'm not going through the paper, I'm going just underneath the threads that I've added to the top of the paper. And I'm going to bring that needle through to the intersection where my stitches are going to be, and I'm going to leave a tail. Just enough to hang on to, don't need to leave a lot. And I'm going to hold that tail down with a finger, and I'm going to come back and go right next to it with the needle, right beside it, underneath those threads. Now at this point I'm going to leave the needle halfway through. Again, hanging on to the tail thread so I don't lose my thread. I'm coming under the needle and then back across the top of the needle with the thread. As you can see, I keep switching and holding with different fingers that tail thread. I'm also holding this piece that I wrapped around the needle so that it doesn't come loose, just for a little while longer. Then I push the needle on through and I pick it up and pull. Now you can see the thread is wrapped around itself. That's what this creates. And I pull it through and pull it down snug. And when I get to the very end, I'm going to grab the tail and the thread and pull both of them and make a very tight knot right there on the end. Now, the next thing is to pull your thread, your tail thread, off to the side so that it runs next to the coordinate stitches that have been couched down, and go under both the tail and the coordinate stitch with the needle. So I'm going under that, but I'm coming over my thread that I'm going to be making the lace with, over the top of it. And then I pull the needle, pull it through, and I want to make sure that it comes across and catches that tail thread down. So I freed up that tail thread, but I'm still holding it. I don't necessarily have to, but it makes it not get caught up in the other thread as I'm pulling it. And then I pull very tightly again on that thread to make the knot. So now I have tied on my thread for my stitches. Now, this is the part that makes everyone nervous. You're going to take your tail thread and you're going to trim it very close to that last stitch. And then you're going to give a little pull and make sure it doesn't come loose, because if it comes loose, we want to know now, not after you've worked a row of stitches. Now we're ready for our first needle lace stitch. That will be the Brussels stitch.